I am a prophetess, and a prophetess is one who gets divine inspiration through the Word of God and the risen Christ. This is one of the most serious prophecies that I have given out since I started with the Rhema Word. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. What's coming has to do with the cleansing on the earth, the purification of America and of the world. Here to split the atom of philosophy and religion.
Soft as the voice of an angel, breathing a lesson unheard. Oh, with gentle persuasion, whispering comforting word. Wait till darkness is over. Wait till the tempest is done. Hope for the sunshine tomorrow. After the shadows are gone. Whispering hope, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart with its sorrows rejoice. In the dust of the swamp, you be the reason apart. Will not the deepening darkness brighten the glimmering light? When the night is upon us, why should the heart sink away? When the darkness night is over, watch for the breaking of day. Whispering hope, oh how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice. Hi there, this is Carolyn Blake Basha of the Spoken Word, the Rhema Word, the Word of the Risen Christ. Welcome back again. It's so good to be here with you. I have so many things to tell you about. First off, I'm trying to chew on a cough drop, so forgive me. But I have a lot of things. There's so many things going on in the world. And I have so much to tell you and share with you. I got to really cram it today because I want to get everything in. The subjects are abortion and about all kinds of things with Trump and everything else that's going on. So we're going to get right to it today. And follow me closely because there's a lot of meat in what I have to say. Well, first off, I just received this last night. It's fresh, hot off the press. Listen to this. This is coming up between now and 2020. The Democrats will crucify each other in 2020. When they start running together and when they're all approaching the room to debate and all that, they're going to crucify each other. They're going to argue with each other. They're going to disagree with each other. And they're going to feel like they're fighting against each other. And in the meantime, Trump's going to be standing in here watching it all. Now, this is what's coming, you know? And he's going to be feeling pretty good. Because what a way to go, you know? And they're going to fall like matchsticks. And right now, what we have going on is like a sideshow. It's laughable. The green this, the blue that, whatever, you know, and how they want to change everything into socialism, and they want people to be, lazy, don't work, and all the things they're bringing out. It's ridiculous, it's nonsense, it's stupid. And it makes me think of a first grade class of students, you know, competing with each other, learning how to talk and walk, whatever they're doing. And in the meantime, you have Trump over here, the college graduate, you know. And this is what's going to happen. The Democrats, however, they're going to dog Trump unmercifully, accelerating to the max, pressing him on his finances. They're going to go after him with a vengeance. You see, this is the thing. They're in the negative, you know, and their prerogative is to win by being negative. And that is ridiculous because you know what? When you get into the negative, you lose. It's an automatic thing. And so they're going to be so busy finding fault with him first and then with each other because they don't know how to be positive. They really don't. I saw his speech on the Union the other night. It was magnificent, according to 76% of the people. Now, many of them sat there looking very disgruntled and, like, man, this isn't for real. And then eventually he won over some of the young women that were there, and he has a way. He knows how to deal with these people, you know. So they're going to go after him financially. I don't know at this point if they're going to succeed in learning anything. How would a first grader be able to understand what a billionaire's finances are like? I mean, let's face it. It must be very, very complicated. And he's been wealthy since birth. So I don't know what they're going to come up with, you know. And then we have this smear tactics and all this stuff. And, I look at this and I watch this. When I was a young girl, I had never seen a person of color in my life. I was in 8th grade. And we took a trip to Boston. A bunch of us kids went as a class trip. And we got to the Park Sheridan Hotel, and out comes these men of color. And we all were chuckling. We thought they were so cute. We just fell in love with them. We said, wow, aren't they cute? You know, and these are my opinions right now. And we started laughing. And one of them winked at me and smiled, and I thought they were just great. I never, ever looked at the color of their skin as anything negative, ever. And I never have in my life. As a matter of fact, I have come to the conclusion there's one color, different shades. And God made us all. And He loves us all. And if He can love us, why in God's creation can't we love each other? You know, if you look at a person long enough and you study them, you can see something good in them. I don't care who they are, you know? And so anyway, I went through the 50s and 60s, and they were all fighting amongst themselves down at Oklahoma on the college campus and all this and that. And I never gave it a thought. You know, I didn't even think, well, why are they fighting or nothing? We didn't have a tendency, at least I didn't, my family didn't, to concentrate and just think about the negative in those days. We didn't. And when I joined the Air Force, there were women of color in there. I actually made friends with some of them. I didn't know I was supposed to be prejudiced. I didn't even know what that word meant. I had no clue, you know, and it's really weird, you know, because, and so I feel like we're kind of going backward. I look at all the beautiful, beautiful people of color, you know, the faded ones, the ones that are darker, the ones that are medium. I look at them and I see beauty. I see beauty in every one of them. My favorite singers during the 50s were you know, like, I liked Ivory Joe Hunter, I liked Fats Domino, and a lot of different ones, you know. And I loved them all. Elvis Presley, Pat Boone, you name it. And I never, ever looked at their color. And you know what I think we're doing today? I think we're going backwards instead of forwards. This is my opinion. I really believe we're going backwards. I think our politicians are acting like little, you know, first graders. I remember in grade school how us kids would have disagreements. You know, we call each other names, you know, and say different things to each other that was derogatory. You know, that's the way it was to be a child. But it says in here, when I grew up and I no longer was a child, I put away childish things. You put away your childish things. You stop. It also says in here, let a man examine himself. Get your eyes off of others. Stop finding fault with others. And it should start at the top in the White House. It should start there. You people are disgusting. You are a disgrace to our nation, you know. And so what if somebody painted their face black back in those days of the 80s? You know what? I can remember dressing up like Aunt Jemima and different people for Halloween parties. You know why? Not because of their color. I dressed up because I admired them. I loved them. They were an example to me, just like Fats Domino was an example to me. Why do you have to look on the negative part? Don't you realize back in those days that was part of our history? We were noticing the people of color. We were noticing them because they were worth being noticed. Now, I grew up in that time, and I think a lot of this is malarkey. I think you guys need to grow up, and you women who are running things, why don't you start looking at yourself, you know? And let's stop looking at the skin. It's so stupid, because when you pass from this earth, your skin goes first. It dies off. And you'll be just the same, all the same color when you turn to dust in the ground. So let's stop the foolishness. And I hope to God that this goes worldwide, what I'm saying today. I am a grandmother, and I've been a mother for 2 families. I've raised 5 children, and I've grown up, and I've lived since 1939. I've seen part of World War II when I was tiny. I've seen all the Vietnam baloney. And you know, I think it's time America sets an example for the rest of the world. I think it's time that everybody that has any hatred in their heart puts it behind them, repents, get on their knees, and ask God to cleanse them from this. This is not good. You know, you're either following, you talk about black and white, you're either following darkness or you're following the light, in the world. And God put his light over all of us with all of our skin colors. So let's try to straighten out our act. Let's have Congress get along. Let's have the Senate get along. And let's have the executive power be respected like I was taught growing up. Let's respect one another. Let's not keep conniving to do this and conniving to do that, as I will bring out many things about that in the words that I have to say. And I will tell you what he up there told me about some of these things, okay? We have the enemy is within our country. He's within. He's having a blast. It says Satan walks about seeking whom he may devour, kill, steal, and destroy. He's trying to destroy our country right now. He's trying to do a good job. Now there are secret meetings going on. I'm going to tell you a secret. In the government, but they're not all in the White House. Secret meetings by the far left, I guess you'd call them. And they are trying to figure out exactly how they can impeach Trump, how they can bring him down and get him thrown out. Whatever they can do to him, they want to destroy him before 2020. That is what they want to do. And they're going to work on this. And you know what? They are clever, egotistical, these people, conniving, deceitful, and unwittingly sneaky. And they attempt to control and snuff out their competition. Oh, I'm telling you, they're going to go after him like you've never seen before. It's going to get pretty hot-tempered. And you know what? He just keeps right on going like the ever-ready bunny. He keeps going. I wish I could be like him. Unfortunately, sometimes when people do things to me, I harbor that inside and I have to ask God to forgive me. Because being part Spanish and part Irish, I got a little fire in me, and I really don't like it when somebody misuses me, lies about me, connives against me. And every one of these things it says here all come from the devil. So that is what is on the agenda coming up. And it won't be too long. I think they're probably starting already, to do that. So now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to go back to 4:21:18. 4:26:18, I'm sorry. Now, a turnaround is due to follow. Do you not see that I am in charge of the earth? All is not in vain. Rest, my children. Be ready for a new walk. Just keep open to me. He's talking to those that follow him. To all I do and all I am, your blessings are moving out even now. Good news coming. I see you excelling from me. You will see a change, his people and their revenue pouring in. I've already seen that in my life. Many will sense your needs and come to you. I will send blessings your way. Do not be grim. Rejoice. Move on in me, and I will restore you, he said. And that is what he is doing with his people. Have you ever seen Christians walking around and they look so glum and they just look sad and they look mean, and you wonder, are they really Christians or are they just people that hate themselves or hate everybody else? They're out there, I'm telling you that. Now, a subject I want to get into before I go on too far here, because I want to make sure it's covered. I had 3 children in my 20s, and then in my 40s I had 2 more. Well, when I got pregnant for Susanna, I was sent to an abortion clinic, and I was told, they could abort her. The doctor sent me there. Because of your age, you're going to have this wrong and that wrong. You'll probably have postpartum hemorrhaging, the child will have all kinds of things wrong with it, and, everything's against you. Now, my mother had 15 children. Nothing wrong with any of them, I had 3 other children first. Nothing wrong with them. And I had to move, so I got a different doctor. And he says, I don't know why you have to abort this child. He says, you've done it before, haven't you? And I said, yes. And I had this most beautiful daughter. That was 37 years ago. And you know what? She is a teacher. She runs for the cure. She is an artist. She teaches college and high school. And she's raising 2 stepchildren. And she is just beautiful. She was born perfectly. Beautiful. I wish I had a picture to show you. And someday I'll bring in one so you can see. She just turned out so wonderful. And I could not abort her because, you know, I know my constitution inside, and I knew that I'd always wonder, what was she like? What would she be like? And I love her with all my heart. And then I got pregnant again. And this time, this is number 5 of my children, I had Samuel. And I can't say it wasn't hard in my 40s raising children. I can't say that. I mean, they were teenagers and I was in my 60s. And, you know, it wasn't easy. But Samuel was perfect, born perfect. But they had sent me to another abortion clinic. Susanna Clinic was on Vermont shores, and Samuel was born in Washington State. And I had a beautiful, beautiful son. And these 2 have had to grow up in a different era than my other 3. And I wasn't quite as strict with them, you know, and they grew up, and I was too permissive in some things, I believe. But you know what? They're still my kids, and I love them. And you know what? I beat that abortion thing. And I just want to say, I had the freedom to make my own choice. And my doctors didn't tell me what to do. The government didn't tell me what to do. And I don't go along with that. You know, I think that the Lord should tell you what to do. I think you should pray about it before you decide to take a child's life. And, you know, it broke my heart when I heard on TV that the United States, in this country, that they have been doing away with children even after they're born, right along. This is nothing new. Did you know that 60 million babies have been aborted in the United States? That don't include China and all over the world. And I have a word about that, what the Lord told me to tell you people out there, all of you, every one of you. And if you have had an abortion, the Lord forgives you. And he told me where your children go. And that if you follow him, you got a second chance. See your child, because they're all in heaven. And that is so beautiful. You know, so I just want to tell you, I spoke out about abortion way back then. I had an article in the newspaper. I spoke at the state houses, Concord, New Hampshire, Montpelier, Vermont. And I just spoke out. And I also spoke out on my older TV programs, because it's 20 years this year, and I did bring it out. Now, we have 8/22/18. Manafort, Trump courts him. The world is askew in trial. The U.S. is stirring up the whole planet. It is not as you see, for the end justifies the means. And he said he set Hannaford aside because he cares about him. He set him aside to pull him out of that mess temporarily. But he will survive and retrieve his dignity. A judge of ethics will bring this all to light. Now, the jury cannot determine his fate yet. Mercy will open its door. And you know one thing that God showed me that is going to happen, that's coming up? Mercy is going to come down on his people and the people of the earth. And boy, I'll tell you, it says in here, the mercy that you give out is the mercy you'll receive. So you want to receive his mercy, you know? And he said, Trump, when you put pressure on him, it's like grease to an axle. He will rebound, and they will be put to shame. You know, it's funny because, you know, they did look kind of funny the other night when he gave his speech, and all the truth came out as he feels. 9/9/18. What's going on the earth? It is chaotic, psychotic, neurotic, and confusion to the max. I see a massive storm hitting your land, and I don't know if that's come or gone. This was back in September. It is moving toward your coast. Extreme winds sound, he says, pounding your shores, panic. When will my people stop and listen to my word? America is under siege by despots. He said, old women concerned about abortion. Who would think of such concern when their womb is dried up, he said. Women want more control. Unwanted children and elderly are everywhere in your country. Can you believe that? No heart or love for one another. He said, did I not tell you in here that the love of many in the last days is waxed cold? They're waxing cold. Well, if a mother can lay there and have her baby and it's laying there and it's suffering, it's not getting any food, and they're trying to decide whether it should live or not, I'd say the love of many, the love of her, is gone. It's waxed cold. Isn't it natural to love your children? I just don't get that picture. You know, I did everything to protect my children from the time they were conceived right up through. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I did everything because I was their mother. And yet you hear of mothers and fathers killing their little babies. I just don't get it. Now, when will my people listen on the earth? Okay, women want more control. That's another thing. I'm a woman. I should have control over the men. What a bunch of garbage. You know, it says in here, you should submit one to another, as Christ submitted. We should submit to one another. We should love one another. In God's eyes, we are equal. It's called equality. You know? Wow. You know, unwanted children and elderly everywhere. I've been to the city. I've seen the unwanted children on the streets. Now, the young resent the old in places, but time will build again for one more season. The oxygen level is changing in the Earth's atmosphere due to the massive heat index pouring upon your nation. That was in September. We had a wicked hot summer. And I'm going to tell you what's coming this summer, too. Oh, your country has been burning due to fire set by indigent foreigners who slip in and out of your land. Cleansing is here. There's corruption, disruption, all hiding behind the Constitution, all declaring freedom for one to express themselves. Selfishness. It's called selfies, you know. The ACLU is a cover-up for they who hate the government. They have a slide rule of anarchy. You can no longer hold one to honesty, decency, as in the days of the past generations. For the hour of darkness has moved into America. Countries laugh and cajole one another and set traps for America. Now this is back in a ways. Trump is wiser to all of this, and he walks a hard line to avoid any traps, and he protects the Americans. He is not a politician and never will be. See, this is the thing that bothers them. He's supposed to act like a politician, right? Now, he is a marksman with his cover that is planted by my worth, none other. The ones who target him will fall by my sword. Their mouths will shut tight as he proves to be super in control and overcomes all on the earth. The former president of your countries had egotistical ideas that leads them to brag about their exploits. But only fools brag. The credit is supernatural, he said, and they are not. Trump is my man of the hour, and he will swallow all tyranny by the far left, he calls it. This is 9/9/18. A lot of this happened. Yes, as he is my David, the economy will grow and swell as it never had. Look what's happened to the economy. This is the day of Jehovah Jireh. The war between good versus evil is here. Rise up, my people, you are asleep in the vineyard. And The harvest is ready, but the laborers are few. You plan your days without even consulting your Maker. The fires, the floods, hurricanes, bombs don't even alarm you. If your world is asleep, that is one thing. But when my people are cozying up in their little corners, that's another thing. Having suppers, building new bridges to meet, he says, to meet me. They will be all judged accordingly because they know the truth. They will be judged accordingly, his people. Don't judge someone who doesn't claim to be a Christian or who doesn't walk around quoting the Bible or who doesn't live a perfect life. You don't know what's in their heart. And I don't either. Some of my followers snap at they who think are off of the track. What if I were to snap at my people, he said. One sheep does not shear another sheep. That is my job. Many young fall by the wayside because the so-called holy ones refuse to help them. And that happened just this week with my son. He needed some help. And people who claim to be full spirit-filled Christians turned their back on him. But then along came a pastor who was a beautiful spirit-filled Christian who helped him to get where he needed to go. Now, they should be humble and do good to all. Where is the extended hand of my son? No child of mine should fall due to addictions. You should be helping them. The world counsels my people, my young, and sucks the money from them, while many of the churches, he said, snuggle together in comfort. If a man is drowning, would you jump in and save him? I say, go after my people, go after the broken, the bruised, and love them into my kingdom. Hands off will only be disobedience in my sight. So stop criticizing everyone out there, including me, other people, and I've done it. Let's stop criticizing. Let's lift a hand to help them. Wake up, you diehards. You don't have all the answers to life. Death is beating at the door of America. Many are falling. Where are they who claim to be tending my work? The harvest is ready, but the laborers are few. Mary and Martha, in his word, he says, one washed my feet, the other did her worldly job. Whom would I cherish and honor? Evil is moving deeper. The occult is out there. Who will stand and not fall in these end times? Boy, I'll tell you, isn't that something? That is really, really something. Now we have the immigrants. They will be forced to scatter. He says, scatter. Your country will not allow all of these people in. He says, this is 10/21/18, October. And there's been many trying to get in since. He said, this clan of negativity to move in all at once. It is an organized lot of scavengers who seek to remove food from the table of America. Many are diseased and, he said, malnourished, have no inoculation. Pray for them, he says. He says they can bring in malaria, diphtheria, and trial upon your people. They are aggressive and chaotic, animalistic, of Spanish descent. Mexico, he says, is pressing the UN to help, but they don't do it. They do not function well. The U.S. will be forced to move in the military. Now, what happened? Didn't they move in the military? That happened. That was October. Before it happened, do not concern. I will protect Trump and his people. He is my son. He is being advised how to push back. It will all move out and new laws will prevail. That is coming. Boy, oh boy, I got to get going here. Awake, ye sleeping giant in the earth. The apocalypse is coming. Good news. I will return soon. Did I not say evil wax worse and worse? This is 11/11/18. The end is upon my people, but they are caught up in self, such as, he says, such as those you see. I know them all, and they will erase. But what about my affairs? My church is not rallying to my call. You must, he said, stop correcting me, but correct yourselves, he said. The world is beginning to destruct. fires, floods, droughts, earthquakes. He says, time has moved to a new era. It is nearly over. Your concern should be for the lost. Trump will recover. He will uncover the truth to all. Severe pile up of immigrants that are voting behind the scenes, padding the books. That is how they overcame Congress. They padded the books. He said they did it all because they didn't have to have any IUDs. Now I'm going to switch over to the updated ones because I don't want to lose those out. 2/7/19. The world, the coming events on the earth. I see chemical explosions. He says happening. Ballistic missiles in foreign countries. I see the moon exploding. Watch the moon. There's going to be a lot of red moons and things happening with the moon. The moon controls the tides on the earth. It's going to affect the tides in the oceans, wiping out villages. You know how they build on the coast right on top of the water? Many lives lost, major cities resting on the beaches, water swelling without notice while men sleep. They won't wake up. Many calling out, "Oh my God, I will shake the earth." He said, a massive quake coming to San Francisco, the city of free sex and free love. I will rock the East and the West, he says, as I step on the Mount of Olives. No more bloodshed of innocent fetuses coming up and newborns, he said. Many left with barren wombs. You don't know this, but here's a fact I found out. After all these abortions, 60 million, there were a certain amount of them, by the thousands, who could never have children again. It made their wombs barren. Isn't that something? Now, the bloodshed of many, he says, murder is plastered all over your land. The world is preparing to come together financially. The big banks will be swallowing up the small ones and then siphoning it off. Now, let's see if we got any more to that. No, and here's 131:19, Rhema. Now, we have, for all those who resent Trump, he says, mixing with Russians, Iranian, and many world leaders, take note of this. He is on the earth to become a head leader of the New World Order. Your complaints will not stop him. As for Russians spying on the U.S., wake up. All countries have been spying on each other for years and years. And just as the U.S. spies on everyone else, it's like the frying pan calling the kettle black. Be assured today this word shall go forth, blow wide open. New concepts on the earth will soon be blown away. The real reason for the exterminating, listen to this, the real reason for abortion, exterminating the seeds of unborn and newborn, is to conquer the power over one another. See? And there's a lot of money in this business of abortion. I see the overload of the utero garbage filled with babies' bodies, all thrown in the fires to burn. Have you ever thought about where the bodies go? Back quite a few years ago, I had a friend who worked picking up trash and stuff behind a major hospital in New Hampshire. And he went out back to get the trash, and there were bags of baby body parts in these clear bags, big, huge garbage bags. He almost threw up, and he was telling people about it. I couldn't believe it, seeing little babies' hands and feet and necks and heads, totally destroyed. Let's face the truth. Let's face what's really going on. Yes, they want power over each other. Now, the government having power over the woman, or the doctor having power over the government. Whatever way it works, it's a power struggle. Now, I see the overload of the utero garbage filled with bodies, babies' bodies, all thrown into the fires to burn. Every hand that is involved shall burn in hell. It is sacrilegious, immoral, unchristian, unholy, and plain murder of the innocent. He who is guilty of shedding blood, it's right in this word, shall not go unpunished. What does it matter if those who are unsaved, evil people, hell-bent, sorcerers and murderers disregard the morality of it all? because they disregard me and my son. Why wouldn't they? They are hell-bent. They talk like parrots preaching against life, as they feel the seed of it comes from their body. But listen to this. All seeds come from heaven, sent to populate the earth. No one owns their own body. How can you own your body when it's going to die? If you owned your own body, you'd be able to control death. You wouldn't die. But we think we own our own bodies. We don't own nothing on this earth. We came in it with nothing, we go out with nothing. So all seeds come from heaven, sent to populate the earth. He says, but I see their bodies, the evil people, embracing the dust of the ground one day, and their soul moving on to heaven or hell. There is no ownership of the fetus, as they have a soul, and their soul abides with me. Darkness is filling the earth, and my power shall blow man off his feet soon. Judgment is pouring out and will increase. This summer coming, listen to this. Boy, I'll tell you where I lost my place here. Pouring out and will increase. This summer will be at the suffocating boiling point. I see many shaming and blaming, name-calling Trump and others. But one day their mouths will shut, never to open anymore, for vengeance is mine, I will repay. Now that was a real heavy word. He gives me heavy words, and then he gives you words to build you up. And I think I will probably quit after this word here. I think I will have most of them done anyway. I want to make sure. Yeah. By spring, the boom will move in, all fullness, the fall of imperialism is due something. I see a contract signed by the president. Yeah. He will lead them into his parlor. This is an agreement between the president and Congress, I think. And they will not be able to restrain him. It will all be over soon as Trump moves on. No weapon formed against him shall prosper. Agreement is on the burner. For rebuttal, for completion, all of sin comes short. I see Pelosi shaking Trump's hand. All is well. Rejoice, for the kingdom of God. Mine is at hand. All who lean on my son shall overcome in him. Good news coming, a new deal with China and Russia. They'll come to the table and open up to Trump. Iran will follow suit, marching on to war, onward Christian soldiers, with the cross of Jesus going on before. That's a good one. Now, this is my finishing one. This is to build you up. The other one was to correct us. And when I say you, I mean me too. A culvert, you know what a culvert is? Catches the residues of the road. I see a road, wide road, clear of all the residues of your walk. I am the culvert of my people. Do not fear over the road ahead. O my people, if you could see as I, the victory is yours. All these things, you can be an overcomer. He who overcomes, I will grant to sit with me in my kingdom. Do not fear, he said. Now the victory will be yours. Receive it. My word to you is faith. Faith is the foundation of all the cross held for you. When you honor my son through faith, behold, my people, be firm in your walk. Do not waver as the billows and the sea rolls. You ever see those sea rolling? I've been out deep sea fishing, and the sea would just come up and churn, right? We were in a 12-foot skiff. I thought we were going to be, gone that day, but we didn't, thank God. I never wavered on my walk on the earth. Receive my word this hour. Great movement coming. A mass revival all over the earth. Movement such as never seen. Overcoming power, majestic power, unseen on the earth. I am the power and might coming in glory. The enemy will fall beneath the pit as my son shows up in the earth. I hear the angels rejoicing in heaven over the conquest that is coming to my people. Behold the Lamb of God who comes to draw the bride unto him. Isn't that amazing? rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art. You are great, Lord. How great thou art. Sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art. How great thou art. When Christ shall come. Shout of acclamation. Isn't that exciting? Take us home. What joy will fill our hearts. Wow, that's amazing. No more death, no more sickness, no more sorrow. For all of you people out there, He has miracles too. For you today, miracles. Be healed in the name of Jesus. If you're sick, be healed right now. In Jesus' name. Oh God. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. Jeez. I can just feel the Holy Spirit moving all over America. No more abortions, no more killing, no more fighting in Congress. Everyone turning to each other and say, I love you. I love you. Because of what Jesus did. I love you. I'm going to grow up and I'm going to change and come out of my childish ways. I'm going to love you. I love you, Jesus. Thank you so much for watching the Rhema Word.